what's up guys? I'm PTC. Today I want to talk to you about breaking choke points in Overwatch because there's one huge glaring problem that I see over and over and over again, and really it's such a simple thing, but for whatever reason people keep getting stuck in this trap. And what I'm talking about is basically deer in the headlights. Now, if you've never heard that phrase before, basically when a deer runs out into the middle of a road at night and there's an oncoming car, the headlights will scare the deer. But the deer gets kind of into a paralyzed state of fear. And sometimes it'll run towards one side of the road, and then it will quickly turn around and run towards the other side, and then it will quickly turn around and run back to the other one again. And basically, it doesn't know what to do. Or sometimes the deer just doesn't move at all. It just looks at the oncoming headlights until either the driver swerves or it hits, and then the deer becomes venison at that point. And this is something that I always see in Overwatch when it comes to choke points. Basically, the attacking team will move up to the choke point, and then they just don't know what to do. They just get stuck there, as if there's some sort of barrier or some sort of force field that's preventing them from actually moving through. Or sometimes people just get scared after they take a tiny bit of damage and they quickly, immediately fall back and run for a health pack or call out for healers or something like that. Now remember the deer in the headlights thing because we're going to come back to that in a second here. Now if you want to break a choke point, there's a couple of things you can do that will drastically increase your chance of success. The first thing is you gotta have a good tank up front. When it comes to breaking choke points, Reinhardt and D.Va outshine everybody else. Sure, Winston can drop his barrier, Zarya has a bubble, and Roadhog just kind of absorbs a little bit of damage himself, but D.Va with her defense matrix and Reinhardt with the barrier shield can absorb a tremendous amount of damage when you're pushing through a choke point that would otherwise be going into the team. So D.Va and Reinhardt are definitely what you're going to want to have up front. One or possibly both. The next thing you want to have is a Lucio. His speed boost is incredibly powerful at pushing your team through the choke point and onto the objective. Not only do you get there a lot faster, but it makes it more difficult for the defenders to actually hit your team when you're moving more quickly. On top of that, it's a benefit to the attackers to fight on the objective, because for every moment that a defender steps off of the objective, you start to capture it a little bit more. Now, you might not capture the whole point in your first try, but if you can capture at least one or two of the sections, it makes it that much easier to capture the point on your next try. The next really big thing is that you need to have all 6 of your team group up and push through the choke point at the same time. Yes, unfortunately, there are going to be games where you have someone who thinks he's Rambo and he's going to try to go off and do his own thing, but really the best strategy is going to be when you have all 6 group up and push through. Now, once you're through the choke point, people can start to split up and engage the defenders as needed, but really you have to push as a single unit through the choke point. The last and possibly most important thing about breaking the choke point is what I was talking about earlier, the whole deer in the headlights thing. You can't be indecisive when it comes to breaking these choke points. When everybody's ready, when you start to push, you can't stop moving forward. When the push begins, everybody needs to go. Don't stop, don't turn around, don't retreat. Move forward. Constantly move forward, move toward the objective. The biggest thing that will kill any attempt to break a choke point is players on your team being indecisive. You can't stop, you can't turn around. As soon as you do, your momentum dies, and then you die as well, and so does the rest of your team. Now, you have to trust that your tanks are going to be able to do the defense that they need. Your healers are going to do the healing that they need to do, and your attackers are going to get the kills on the defenders that they need to do. But you can't stop. Once your team has begun pushing through the choke point, you can't stop. Don't be that deer. Don't be indecisive. Don't get hit by the car, or in this case, the Reinhardt that's coming charging for you, or the rocket, or whatever else. You just have to keep moving forward. Now let's put it all together. You're going to want to have a Reinhardt, a D.Va, or possibly both. You also want to have a Lucio. Now when your team is ready to initiate an attempt on breaking the choke point, you want to be near the choke point, but not directly in front of it. You don't want the defenders to be able to see you. You don't want them to know when it's going to happen. You kind of want it to be a surprise. So what's going to happen is all 6 of your team is going to be at the choke point, but off to the side a little bit so that the defenders can't see you. Lucio is going to speed boost, and then your Reinhardt and your D.Va are going to go out in front. They're going to absorb as much damage as they can, while the rest of the team pushes in behind them. And remember, once you started making your way through that choke point, do not stop. At that point, it's sink or swim. Either you effectively break the choke point and move on to the objective, or everybody dies and you try again. But don't stop. Don't be indecisive. Now, there are some more advanced strategies and tactics for specific maps, but what I talked about in this video will work for most situations. Again, have the right tanks, have a Lucio, group up, and most importantly, when your team commits to pushing through the choke point, don't stop. Just keep going through, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, try it again. Hopefully this video helped out some of you guys and you'll have more success in your competitive matches. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the new videos that come out. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Share it with your friends. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.